Hello, everyone. Today we have Claudia Gestro on with us. Claudia is from Peru, South America. She moved to Miami at 12 years old in her childhood, and she's currently an independent journalist for the NHL.com. Thank you for coming on and joining us and talking hockey today. Claudia, would you like to talk a little bit more about where you came from and what you're doing?
Yeah, I am an independent multimedia reporter and content creator for NHL Espanol. As you know, we only have a few years out there, but I have been covering the NHL since the Kings won the cup. So it's been a long time for the NHL Espanol to finally. I'm so happy that they finally started doing NHL Espanol. It was almost like a dream come true. It was unbelievable. So yeah, this is pretty much, how it started back in 2012. I was covering the Lakers, and obviously the Kings were on a running for the Stanley Cup at the time too, which it was interesting because I didn't know much about hockey. I played basketball in high school, so I'm a basketball player. And then some of the Southern, I just fell in love with hockey. It was so much fun to actually watch the Kings win that cup live.
Yeah, that's very cool. And you talk about basketball and stuff. You obviously fell in love to play the sport, but who are your favorite teams and players and who you followed back in your younger days?
Totally. When I was in high school, I always enjoy watching the Lakers. It was definitely my favorite sport when I was a kid because I played. I love the Lakers and was watching, Kobe Bryant and the whole core. It was just unbelievable, and had the opportunity to move to the West Coast back in 20, 2010 when I finally, and then the Lakers won actually those back-to-back championships. So that was unbelievable because I moved in like 2009, and then that was another year, and then the 2010. And I mean, I enjoy all those years watching the NBA, obviously moving for the first time to California. I never expected to see the Lakers win a back-to-back like that. That was unbelievable. It was so much fun to enjoy that. And then I started covering the Lakers in 2012.
Okay.
That's when I first started covering the Lakers. I was actually sort of interning at Sirius XM at the Spanish one. It was recently brand new at the time, and they just started up. I was graduated from college already, and I just gave it a try. I asked them if they can give me a shot. It's a very interesting story. So I was working at a restaurant and we were doing promotions, but I have a degree of journalism. I wanted to move forward with my career and start somewhere. At the time, we're doing all this promotional work for the restaurant, and one day I just went to the restaurant and not the restaurant, sorry, I went to the radio station, Sirius XM, where we used to go and do the promotions. And I went there early and I just kind of knock on the doors and look for different spots to see maybe somebody will give me a chance to start my career because after you graduate from college, if you don't get in when you're an intern, it's kind of rough. It's more complicated. So I had the opportunity to work at this restaurant where we used to do a lot of promotions and go to different radio stations. So I just literally walked in one morning to one of those radio booths and I asked them if they needed help. And sure enough, she says, "Come tomorrow and talk to us about your promotion." And we want to know more about you. And then I just asked her if they needed help. And she said, "Yeah, sure enough, come tomorrow." And I did. So I was just helping out. I was learning about radio. So I started in radio. That was my first gig. And I started just helping out the producer, the two hosts that they were on the early, it was like 7 a.m., super early in the morning. And I just started talking to them about let's why we just don't try to do some sports because I love sports all I mean, especially the NBA was my number one. And I was covering the Lakers. So they were like, yeah, sure, just yeah, well, let's do it. And that's how I started. Basically, I started covering the Lakers and then I went to Super Bowl for Media Day. So it was fascinating. My producer She was super awesome, and I wasn't talent yet at the time, and so I was helping the talent. But also, I like the trust from the producer about me being just a newbie with no experience, afraid of the microphones, afraid of everything, to even talking from the radio. And but for her to trust me, and she liked my idea. She's like, "Come in, yes, let's do that. Let's do the sports stuff. Let's do the Super Bowl." And she was open to all my ideas. It was like really awesome. I felt it felt so good.
Right. Yeah, that's cool to kind of start. And who was in the Super Bowl at that time? Do you remember the teams?
I was back in Indianapolis.
Oh yeah, okay.
Remember that year? It was my first time. I remember my producer. She was doing the Sirius XM NFL and in English, and she was running the Spanish too. But there was only one, the NFL radio station for Sirius XM, which is, as you know, it's huge for the NFL, especially under Super Bowl. So she was running some radio shows that they were going live, and different parties that they were going on in the Saturday night parties. So she was in charge of one of those. And I just happened to know some people at the parties, and so I called up some people, and they're like, "Hey, can I go in the party? Can you put me in the list?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure. Just fly yourself over here. We'll put you in the list." So I told my producer, "Can I help you?" Um, One thing that I always recommend people, especially when they get into this business, is you can make things happen if you really want to. Um, it was an opportunity that I created myself at the time. She didn't request me to go in. I just really went on my own. I found a way how to get to the show, and I asked her if she needed help. And she says, absolutely, sure, come and help me. So I met the family of the Sirius exam during the whole weekend for Super Bowl weekend.
Very cool. Yeah. No, like you said, I mean, all these followers watching, especially these young kids and players, athletes, they should be following along, just being determined and wanting to do something with a goal in mind and a vision, right?
Yeah.
Mentally. I think many things are possible, and that's what they should be looking up to others as well. I mean, these whether you're NHL, MLB, or NFL superstars or whatever, look up to them, but also, you know, just like yourself, myself starting a business is it's when you're wanting to try to create something, things just start to happening and you start building it, right?
Mhm.
So it's
Correct.
a good learning for these followers to listen into. So just want to chat with you a little bit about, I know you have MLB experience as well, but um,
Yeah.
your NHL background as well, and we can even talk some international hockey, into the Latino hockey community. Anything that you would like to, share with that, and any of these followers that are learning along, and
Yeah.
that are unaware of this type of international hockey.